this has caused for families right here in Pennsylvania. This is not just a policy issue, it's a human issue, and today is about standing together in solidarity and making our collective voices heard. With that, I want to thank all of our speakers for being here today, and I'll now turn it over to State Representative Dave Madsen, who will speak first.
Thank you, Commissioner, and good morning.
Good morning.
State Representative Dave Madsen. I have the privilege of representing the 104th Legislative District. And today I want to stand in solidarity with the immigrant community, but most importantly, the Bhutanese and Nepali community. In my district, we have a number of Bhutanese and Nepali residents, and some have been impacted by this decision by the federal government. And I stand before you today as a proud son of an immigrant. And I'm going to talk a little bit about my family's story and experience with the immigration system. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about my father, who is a Danish citizen. He has a PhD from Johns Hopkins in philosophy. And I don't say that to flex, but I say that to say my entire life, he has had green card status, and we have struggled to navigate the immigration system. As a matter of fact, we had to get some help from a very good immigration attorney, you'll be hearing from later, to help us navigate the system. I say that to say because this isn't an easy system to navigate. Oftentimes, families like mine with resources struggle to navigate the bureaucracy, and you oftentimes find yourself in gray areas, where when my father goes to Denmark to visit relatives and comes back here, he goes back and forth. There are times where he really doesn't know what's going to happen when he tries to enter the country or leave the country. We have got to fix this in a humane way. And right now what the federal government is doing, we've seen this story before. It's been a part of the American history. We saw it during the War on Terror. We saw it during the Red Scare. We saw it in World War II with Japanese internment camps. This country, when we get scared or we hit hard times, we often blame it on immigrants. And often when that happens, inhumane policies follow, like we just experienced in Dauphin County. Now, there might be some that say, well, wait a minute, maybe they were here illegally. What the federal government did is abducted these people and skirted the process. And they continue, and what we've been hearing is they've even said they don't care what the courts decide. That should concern every American citizen. I'm all for keeping communities safe. I'm all for taking people who may be terrorists or committing crime and harm in our communities and fast-tracking them out of this country if they're here to do us harm. That is fine. But we cannot neglect who we are as a people and the systems we created. There is a court system that must be followed, a process and legal rights that must be respected. And so I'm here today to encourage the federal government to do the right thing and respect people's rights and respect the people that are here to live a decent life and provide for our communities and economy. I want to thank the Commissioner for his leadership. I'd like to thank my colleagues that are standing here in solidarity. And I want to offer an apology to our Bhutanese and Nepali neighbors on what you're experiencing. Please know we will do everything we can to make sure that there is a fair process and that you are respected in this community. You are welcome here. You are an ally, and truly, truly, truly do apologize for this, but please know we're going to do everything we can to make it right. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Representative Justin Fleming. I have the privilege of representing Lower Madison Township, Edward Borough, and Susquehanna Township. And my message today is simple. This is completely unacceptable. What the Trump administration is doing, with no guide rails, no sort of guidance, it's ham-handed, it is reckless, and as my colleague said, it is dangerous because we've seen this precedent before in America. We've seen this in the United States. And my message, quite frankly, is this is one of the most difficult things for us to navigate as state legislators, because immigration is purely a federal issue. The state really doesn't have any purview in terms of legal immigration or how to manage immigration. But what I want you to do, and I did this myself just last week, I met with our Congressman Scott Perry here, who assured me that it's only criminals that are being sought by ICE. And I think in this case, in many cases, there was a nephrologist that was arrested, a professional who was trying to help people, a physician that was taken by ICE in another state. And so we see, unless there are some criminal charges that come out of that, that does not seem to be the case. Again, this policy seems reckless. This policy is absolutely destructive to families. And so my message to you is, please contact your federal officials, your congresspeople, your senators, Senator Fetterman, Senator McCormick, because immigration is in the federal purview. They can do something about it. Do not go overboard, but we need to make federal officials uncomfortable. We need to make it known that this cannot stand in the United States of America, that we stand with our brothers and sisters, people of color, whomever it is, regardless of nationality. America is a nation built on the contributions of immigrants. We've heard that over and over. And it's true. And now we have a president who is a felon himself and skirts the rule of law. He has no regard for the rule of law. So contact your federal officials, make them realize that this is not okay, make them uncomfortable, and make them see that the president, they have the power, regardless of the fact that they have seemed to cede that. The Congress has power to overturn these executive orders. They have the power to act as a check on the President of the United States. Even though they've ceded their power in large measure, they have that authority. Contact them, let them know that they need to use it, exercise that authority, and overturn this destructive, ridiculous policy. And again, as Representative Madsen said, we want to offer our heartfelt thanks to every member of an immigrant community. If you're here illegally, it's a misdemeanor. But again, there is a process to go through, and this administration, this White House, again, who clearly has no respect for the rule of law, is skirting that process. That's wrong. Let your federal officials know that this is not okay, this is not acceptable. Make them do something about it. Thank you. And with that, I'd like to introduce my senator, State Senator Patty Kim.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Patty Kim. I represent a region where many Bhutanese individuals reside in the Senate District 15. Some have lived in the Harrisburg region longer than me. About 35 years ago, the first refugees settled here in central PA. They weren't treated well in their country that they were born in, and that's putting it lightly. They were chased out of Bhutan, and some of their houses were burned on the way out. After years and even decades of living in refugee camps in the neighboring country of Nepal, they realized Bhutan wasn't going to change its mind. They were not welcome back. After applying and waiting in a very long line, many refugees made their home in the Harrisburg area. I spent time with this community that's diverse within itself. Some are Hindus, some are Christians, they are business owners, healthcare professionals, realtors, a veteran, and some are even running for local office. It's amazing how quickly this community has put away their past trauma, started a new life, and has contributed in many ways to our region. We are lucky to have them. All this to say, it is an affront when we learn that folks with legal status were picked up by ICE and federal officials think that they can just send them back to Bhutan. Of course they got rejected. They left because of ethnic cleansing. Now they're rejected twice. I'm embarrassed by the lack of knowledge and understanding by our federal officials. This process is hurting and scaring many people. But we are committed to making sure the process is legal, people get their due process, and treated humanely. We hope to see these 5 Bhutanese communities of our community back home. We're going to make every effort to do that. Talk to the governor's office today to make sure that we can make this happen. I want to thank Commissioner Douglas for leading the charge. And now I'd like to introduce the Bhutanese Community Director, leader, who's been outspoken many times, Tilak Nurul. I'm going to take that back. My good friend, Representative Sveta Freitas, who will say a few words.
Huh? Oh. What happened?
This is what we get on a session day.
This is what we get on a session day. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you, Commissioner, for bringing us together this morning to talk about such an important issue. It's amazing how humanity continues to make the same mistakes over and over again. Thanks to immigrants, whether undocumented or documented, the state of Pennsylvania only lost 1 congressional seat, meaning that we could have lost a lot more resources, but we did not, thanks to immigration. And today, our federal partners are interpreting the law as they see fit, not as it's written, not as they say that there's a right way to be a legal citizen, be a legal resident in the United States of America. These 5 members of our community were illegally removed from their community, from their life, from their home. And issues like this are happening all across Pennsylvania and all across America. Whether it's Allegheny County, Philadelphia County, where I'm probably from, it's happening in Sullivan County, it's happening in York County, Adams County, and right here, unfortunately, in Dauphin County. We need to stand up, because last time something like this happened, too many people died unjustly. And all of a sudden, we've forgotten about that. We're living it in real time. We're headed down that path, unfortunately. So please, Dauphin County, let Scott Perry know that immigrants are welcome in Pennsylvania and in Dauphin County. Thank you.
Hello everybody, I am Joe Hohenstein and I am here to stand up for the rule of law. I'm a state rep from Philadelphia and I'm happy to be here at the invitation of my colleagues from Dauphin County, Commissioner Douglas, and to be here to say that this country, way back at its founding, made a declaration that included a recognition of the inalienable rights of all people, the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And Thomas Jefferson, when he wrote those words, was recognizing a natural law, was recognizing that that law was greater than any king, that that law could supersede tyranny and dictatorship. And that's what we have to get back to. We have to get back to the America and its ideals that we were always taught applied to all people. Now some folks say, hey, gotta do it the right way. And I say, yeah, I'm right. You have to do it the right way. The government has to do it the right way. There is a due process of law. And the 5 people who sit in ICE detention right now are lawful permanent residents. By definition, they did it the right way. And no one has said what, if anything, they did wrong. And my guess is they didn't do anything wrong. But we don't know that because, one, we don't even necessarily know where they all are. So when it comes to standing up for the rule of law, when it comes for saying, I'm here for the American way, damn straight, we are here for the American way because we have to be here and speak up for those who are not being given a voice in this current government, in this current environment. We have to be their voices. Those of us who stand in positions of power and privilege as middle management political operatives as we are, right? So let's be honest, right? State rep, county commissioners, we're middle management in the political realm. The real decisions are being made at the higher levels, but we still have power, and we have to use that power to stand up for the communities that are being attacked and for those that don't have power in our country. And at this point, I'm going to turn it back over to Commissioner Douglas, because we do need to hear the voices of the community that's affected, and I believe that that's what we're going to be doing.
Thank you, Representative. And now I'd like to introduce the leader of the Bhutanese community, Tilak Narula. Please join us up on the podium. Thank you.
All right, good morning. Thank you everyone for being here this morning. And thank you elected officials, for organizing this really important press conference. You are aware that the Bhutanese community came to this country in a legal process as a part of the refugee resettlement program. When we came here for the first time, we got a permanent resident card. It is also known as green card. Many Bhutanese Americans are now a US citizen. Still, there are people waiting to be the naturalized citizen. So, the current news here, just in Dauphin County, 5 individuals who has their family, who have their children, wife, parents here, are just been picked up without reason. These are the permanent residents. We were forcefully evicted from Bhutan. We do not have a country. We do not have a country. Deportation is not an option for Bhutanese American. If anyone is convicted of any criminal charges, we do have a justice system. We have a court. We want to follow the due process. We do have prisons and jails here. We wanted to follow the rules and regulations. We are a law-abiding citizen. This morning, I stand here with our elected official to send a message to Washington that, again, we do not have a country for deportation. We were forcefully evicted once. There is no way we can go back to that same country where we were brutally tortured and forcefully evicted by the government of Bhutan. So I'm requesting our elected officials here and in Washington to make sure that, again, we are law-abiding citizens, so any convicted individual can go through the legal process, due process, but deportation is not an option. Thank you.
I want to thank Tilak for his comments and the entire Bhutanese Nepali community for what they're enduring right now. I'm here today and helped organize this with the reps and Senator Kim here locally in Dauphin County, because 5 men, fathers, husbands, neighbors are being taken from our community, from right here in Dauphin County. These are 5 of my constituents. This is personal. 4 of them have children, all of them have families. They work here, they pay taxes here, they raise their kids here. They are part of the fabric of this region, and now they're being detained and ripped away from everything and everyone they know. Let's be absolutely clear. These are legal, permanent residents. green card holders. These are not undocumented individuals. These are people our country made a promise to. Under President George W. Bush and reaffirmed under President Barack Obama, the United States made a bipartisan commitment to resettle Bhutanese Nepali refugees who had nowhere else to go. Offering hope to the vulnerable is what makes America great. Ripping that hope away with handcuffs and fear, that's what makes America cruel. It makes us weak. They are refugees without a home country. Their homes are here. Their families are here. Their lives are here. And yet we're detaining them like they don't belong. I'm here to say loudly and proudly that our Bhutanese and Nepali neighbors do belong here in Dauphin County. If there are legal concerns, we have a court system. We have something called due process. But what we're seeing isn't about justice, it's about fear. It's about sending a message to a community that's already vulnerable. Is this really about public safety, or is this simply a scare tactic, I would ask? Let me tell you what this is not. This is not protection, this is not justice, this is simply persecution. And it doesn't make us safer, it makes us smaller. We pride ourselves on being a nation of laws and rights, but if we turn our backs on refugees who've done everything we've asked just because they're different, what kind of America are we hoping to build? I stand with the Bhutanese Nepali community, a community that has brought so much to this region: hard work, culture, family, values, faith. They deserve better than fear. They deserve better than silence from their elected officials. And they can count on me. These are my constituents, and I will fight for them. I will continue to fight for them when this press conference is over. I've already contacted and reached out to Governor Shapiro, Senator Fetterman, Senator McCormick, and Representative Perry. I call on all Dauphin County residents to reach out to their federal representatives, calling on them to stand with these 5 men and honor the promise that we made as America to them, and bring them back home to Dauphin County to be reunited with their families. We're not going to let this go quietly. We're going to raise our voices until they are heard and until these families are reunited. I want to take a moment to thank everyone who was able to be here today and all the behind-the-scenes work. I'm a rookie commissioner. It's no secret that that's the case, and I don't know what it takes to throw a press conference, so I got to thank my administrative staff who did a ton of work, stayed late last night to get emails out, and all the staff here at the Capitol that helped make this possible. We're going to have a time now for questions. I know you probably want, media probably wants to talk to some of the individuals who spoke, so we'll be off to the side. Thank each and every one of you for coming out and putting attention on this and putting spotlight on this. And again, our hearts, prayers, and thoughts are with the Bhutanese Nepali community at this time. Thank you for being here.